Hello and welcome on back to another episode of Unorthoblocks where, wait, hang on, has that always had red eyes on top of it? I don't feel like it has. They used obsidian as well. Beautiful. Yeah, so last episode we did a small amount of work on our base and we got some of our shops up and running. So let's go and have a little bit of a look around, see if we've actually made any sales. Wow, the world is rendering in slowly at the moment. I think that's just because of shaders, and I have literally just logged on to the server. But yep, so we've got our record shop. Let's see if we've actually sold anything in here. I know it can be quite dark with the shaders on, but I like shaders. I don't think we've made any sales. Oh, we have made a sale. Yeah, there we go. Right, we're starting to rake the diamonds back slowly. Let's see if we've got any orders in here as well. We do not. That's quite funny. You can hear that all the way from the front of the shop. And just before it turns dark, let's have a look and see if this little tiny thing I built here has had any luck at all. Oh, someone's given me a flower. That's nice of them. Hey, look at that. 64 diamonds. Now we're going to have to do something for someone at some point. But the most important thing is we have some money now. So we can buy stuff if we need to. I don't want to buy stuff. I just want to try and get a little bit diamond rich, I think. See if we can sell some more. I mean, if we can sell some more, that's another 5 stacks of diamonds. I know it's a lot of diamonds to ask for people, but hey, how else do we become rich? I'll just check real quick if we've sold any slime. Slime shop looks pretty cool at night. And hey, look at that. We sold some slime as well. I guess what I need to do before the 1.16 update is get this gold shop nice and stocked up, because otherwise we're not going to have a lot of gold on the server, and we are completely resetting the nether from what I understand. So yeah, gold. We need gold. We need to stock it up because it's going to become an actual commodity at one point. I am kind of looking forward to updating to 1.16 and Unorthoblocks, just for the sheer fact that at the moment we've just been holding off from building a nether hub, and yeah, it would just be good to actually have one. That ghast was insanely loud. Right, let's come on through the portal into our world. We're a little bit away from everyone, which I don't know how happy I am about that anymore, but there we go. I am planning today, because I finally got replay mod back, reinstalled that, so we can have some really cool time lapses again. We don't have to have those really static and quite boring ones. But yeah, I need to do a bunch of work over here, because I really want to keep progressing what's going on. So yeah, last time we didn't really... What did we do last time? We did all of this last time. Did we do all of this last time, or was that the time before? Do you know what? I really have no idea. But we need to start making some progress. So, I think what we need to do is build up these towers. I'm actually going to change the size of these a little bit. I think these circles are a little bit too big. Or maybe they're just perfect. I don't know. Maybe too big? Too big? I'm going to say they're too big. They're definitely too big. So we're going to make these circles a little bit smaller. And that should help sort of make this feel a little bit more complete without actually having to build the mountain around it. I am going to hold off on some of the detailing of it though, because these towers are essentially supposed to be underneath the mountain. So let me give you an example. So if you have a look at the way the dirt is going, basically when the mountain's in, we're going to have to use our imaginations a little bit. when we get the mountain built up, essentially what I want it to be doing is coming up and over the top of this build. Hence why some of these bits over here don't have any detailing on them either. And it's essentially going to have like an overhang lip. So like this bit here is actually going to be underneath a part of the mountain, and it's going to really look like this has been carved out, like a chunk of it's been carved out. Now, as for these towers, they're going to be sort of poking out some ways from the actual mountain itself. So basically, from where the dirt is upwards, I'm going to have to detail it, definitely. Just because I'm not 100% certain how I want this looking. Some of the front face might even be poking out. It will just be handy, basically. And, you know, I can always take some of the detailing blocks away afterwards and claim them back. In fact, it could wind up looking really cool if just little bits of the tower are just poking through the mountain face when we get up. Yet, look, I think I've just had an awesome idea. Anyway, time-lapse time. So I've kind of stopped where I am at the moment, just because I've realised that what I was saying isn't really going to work straight away. Basically, the shape of this mountain is... That was very, very loud. Yeah, the shape of this mountain is... I mean, I still need to build the mountain downwards into the water here and sort of shape it up. But, like, looking at the height of that, unless I was to tear all of that down... the shape of it would wind up being fairly weird, so it's not going to be till quite a bit higher up that this is going to start poking through at all. Whereas the one on this side, which I've not built yet, we've kind of got a completely blank canvas over here. But again, I'd imagine it's going to be a fairly similar story. So yeah, basically what we need to do is actually start building the mountain up before we can start doing stuff like that. I think that is why I've been putting this off for quite a long time. There's going to be a hell of a lot of stone placement. Yeah, essentially what I want to do is have the mountain sort of curl around a little bit into the front area here and then come down into the water. Yeah, there's going to be a hell of a lot of planning and shaping to do for that. And I don't think that today I quite have time to sort of get into mountain planning, because that is a really, really big task. What I am going to do is just real quick rebuild up exactly what I've done on that side over here. And just to show you real quick, I've copied over this sort of entry design here. I've just flipped that over onto this side, so it's just upright stair, upside down stair, with cobblestone walls on the top of it, just to create a nice little arched entryway. Of course, dwarves, being as small as they are, need these gigantic doors to make sure they can fit through. Otherwise, you know, they're just never going to make it. So, that leaves us with what do we start working on for today? And that is a really good question. I really want to do something with this tunnel here at some point. So we've got all of this area underneath us sort of leveled out, and we was going to use down here for some storage, which is definitely something that I need to get sorted. But I'm kind of in two minds about it at the moment, because I'm such a messy player anyway that half the stuff never finds its way back into the storage systems, because I just don't have the patience to sit there and wait. I need a hell of a lot more of this. Do you know what? My shortage is actually redstone itself. The... What are they even called? The glowstone blocks. I've completely blanked out on what they were called then. Glowstone blocks are really easy to come by, but for some reason I've got a massive shortage of redstone. It's probably because I don't do a lot of underground digging. I do a lot, you know, I get most of my resources come from terraforming the land up into the way I want it, digging out massive holes like this massive one here for all of the water. What a beautiful sunset. So yeah, I need to come up with a plan for what we're doing. I don't want to waste an entire episode. So I think we just need to continue expanding in here. That is definitely nighttime, right? And that just does not work. Right, I think I've got a little bit of a plan going on. So this room here is going to be pretty much this size. We're going to have some hallways coming off here. These are going to lead into the towers as well. Just so basically we've got multiple different ways that we can sort of get around our base. We can come all the way out to the front here to get to them, or we can go down these corridors to get to them as well. And then that way we can have like little rooms. Probably like army barracks would be the best sorts of things to put in these rooms. Nice and close to the front entrance of the build, and you know, if we was to ever have to go to war, then it would mean that we can go straight to war. Just gonna open this up. We're gonna put that same thing there on here as well, just for consistency's sake. And yeah, so sticking with the dwarven theme and going back to the main theme of inspiration for any of these sorts of builds, like I'm sure anyone who goes for dwarven based things always thinks, you know, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. So we got Erebor, the mountain, and inside it is the Dwarven Kingdom. Oh, it's called the Misty Mountain. I completely messed that up. So you got the Misty Mountain, and you've got Erebor inside the Misty Mountain, which is a dwarven stronghold. And in there, there's like, definitely watch The Hobbit if you haven't, but there's like these really long, just stone bridges that lead to this central point. And I think that's what I want to get planned out today, is how far back is this build actually going to go on the surface level. There are going to be multiple levels to this. There's going to be an entire mining section, and we're going to create like a completely custom mine and make it look like everything's going. We're going to have like a smelting area where we've got these massive machines and just stuff carrying everything around. But for the main hall, I'm not going to do what they've done in The Hobbit, which is have a throne in the middle of this passageway, but it is going to be an intersecting point. It's going to be very open, and it should help us start to get a feel of the actual scale of this build, which I'm hoping, and by hoping I mean I know, is going to be a pretty big build. So yeah, we got some work to do, definitely. I think from this room as well, we got the staircase here leading up from outside, but we're also, and I know this is going to sound insane, we're also going to have some staircases leading back down from up here. But think about it from a defensive standpoint. To get into this kingdom, they have to make their way through the front door with all the defenses on the front, all the way up, and then even when they get up, they're not actually into the main housing areas and all of that sort of stuff. They then have to go back down, or they have to go across like really thin, really what's going to be really well protected bridges. And yeah, we're thinking on a defensive level here. That is definitely the excuse I'm going for why we're building a staircase up and then back down, not because I built a staircase up and then started thinking about wanting to go back down at all. Okay, I'm gonna get this planned out. Let's go. Just on another note, before I get started on all of that, how cool would it be if we had like a slime elevator in here that we could sort of stop on different levels? I think I'm going to wait for the 1.16 release for that, because they've been making quite a few big changes. I know they're in the pre-release stage now, so we shouldn't really see many more changes, but you never know. They could change one thing and then it could fundamentally change the way a redstone component works. So always best to wait, especially if we are planning on updating this world into 1.16, which we are. I realise in that last clip I told you to go and watch The Hobbit, but I really don't like those films. They kind of killed the book for me. Read The Hobbit. Make sure you read The Hobbit and watch the films if you want to get some inspiration, because there are some pretty cool looking builds and that in it, but you know, it really did upset me. Anyway, look, the reason I've jumped in is because I've removed some mountain. I've removed a little bit of mountain, and it's taken not too long, really. I've probably been digging for about 20 minutes. Probably not even 20 minutes, but with this haste beacon and my pickaxes and you know, it feels a little bit long-winded. And here's the kicker, right? I think I am going to go back to the idea of blowing it up, which means that today we will not be doing anything that I have said so far. See how plans change. Plans change all the time. We're going to miss out on a lot of resources. I did dig out a hell of a lot of resources back at the incomplete mini game. We're going to do it one day. One day it's going to get done. Yes, we are going back to the TNT duper idea. I think I'm just going to blow the hell out of all of this. Yeah, basically, I don't want to spend forever digging, and it's just this realization that I will be spending forever digging. So that leads me into the new, what are we doing today, and how are we going to do it? Well, that would be like this, with this beautiful, beautiful contraption. I got this off of a Raise Work video, and it is a TNT duper that is going to save us one hell of a lot of time. Over here we just got like a return station. So we're kind of just doing a test run at the moment. I will set up a time lapse. I want to see how deep it goes, sort of starting from there and just doing one singular pass. And then, yeah, I'll have to clear out some of these mountains down by myself, which is fine for resources. But then we'll be able to just blow the hell out of everything. Which would be great, because we love blowing things up. Well, that didn't work out, did it? So, maybe we go for a different design.